want to spend a few moments just showing you and doing a brief review of some of the setup functions of setting up the resort cleaning account. Most of these steps may have already been accomplished when you inherit the account, but we want to show you how to add staff, how to add services, how to add properties, and how to modify property setup. So first and foremost, we're going to show you how to add staff. From your dashboard or from any page, you just simply go to staff, click on the function you want to add, whether it be housekeepers, inspectors, house attendants, or supervisors, and then click on that function. For housekeeper, we'll click add housekeeper. You put in their first name. We'll come up with a name. We'll assign them to a specific area or region. Hit save, and then that person's account will be created. You can now start adding that person to specific tasks within that region. Supervisors have a little more setup functionality that you got to do. So if you click on a supervisor, you go to add a supervisor. You have to add their name. You have to add in their email information. So if we do name could be Barry Bonds. At email.com. You can assign their password. You can assign their phone number. One of the things you want to make sure you do, just so they're not getting a bunch of spam emails, turn their autoresponder off. Click the region, and then give them all the access rights that you believe they should have. Perhaps they don't need any sort of invoicing or billing rights, so you can make sure those aren't checked, but maybe they need access to everything else. So you would just check that, go down to the bottom, hit save, and make sure that that's all been saved. Okay, so that's how you would add staff. Now, to modify property setups or to add properties is just as easy. To add a property, go to Properties, click Add Property. Oops, got signed out there. We'll sign right back in real fast. Go to Properties, click Add Property, and then you add in the pertinent information. The only information that's absolutely required to initially set up the property would be the property manager, the property name, the time zone, the region, and that's it. All this other information is very useful, but not required at first. You definitely want to make sure that you click QC inspection if you plan on doing inspections for that particular unit, and select the inspection template that's required. You would also list out whatever the default service is, the price that you're going to get paid for that service, so that it populates the invoice. If you're doing a piece rate, what you're going to pay the employee. What your productive time is going to be for your housekeepers, for your inspectors, and then you would just click Mark QC such that it would pull in the QC inspection. There you go, and then you hit save. In addition to being able to add services, from here, if you have a specific service listed, you can just keep adding all the services that you want to list for that property. So maybe I have a checkout clean, but also do a clean and tidy. Or maybe I have a unoccupied clean, which means the guest is out, but I just need to go through and do inspections. So you would select the one that's specific to your particular resort, or maybe we need to create one. So we would create those and hit save. Now, one of the things that you could also do is if you don't see a service that applies to you, to add a service, you simply go to Setup, Services, click Add Services. Now, for most of your services, you want to make sure the date calculation is off. Date calculation being on is if their date calculation is on, if you're getting multiple reservations pulled through on an integration, it's going to determine based off that date calculation when the next arrival will be, etc. Okay, and it will also automatically determine whether it's a back-to-back or not. So you just simply enter the description of the service. So maybe the service is a daily cleaning. Support task, we could pick all the support tasks that are associated with that. These support tasks are specific to the house attendant. So what do the house attendants need to do to help you support the completion of that task? And you can add in your house attendant projected time, your supervisor projected time for that specific task at this point too. Okay. Now, let's say you've already set up a property, you need to do some slight modification to it, or maybe you need to do modification to a number of properties at once. The easiest way to do that, depending on what you need to do, would be your property price config page. So from here, you can add in the price that you're going to charge for the cleans, how much you're going to pay your room attendants. You can select how much the house attendants cost for that. You can change productive times and a number of other features. You could also use the region and area config page to make a number of modifications to your properties or your regions and areas, including but not limited to selecting the property area if you set that up, selecting a property inspection template, or changing the QC template that you would use for that thing. So that concludes the brief review of setup. If you want to get more in depth with setup features or questions, please feel free to reach out to us at customerservice@resortcleaning.com, and we'd be happy to schedule a demonstration for you.